Hi guys, welcome to Challenge the Road. I've got a video for you. Grab a cup of tea, beer, or whatever you need, because it's quite a long video, but I want to talk about 2030 government policy that's going to come out, talk about EVs, hybrids, mild hybrids, machinery, tractors, lorries, vans, everything that's going to affect us. And I've put the video together because I'm not happy. It just can't go through in 2030, and I think it's going to affect our freedom of choice. It's going to have, a massive impact on us. And even though, we want to embrace change, it's got to have progress. And at the moment, the progress of what's happening isn't there. And we need to put something together. So I've put this together as sort of a bit of a mandate, but I want your comments on the video to say, Richard, there's some areas that could need tweaks. I've put some CO2 goals for companies. I've put where mild hybrid is best, plug-in hybrid's best. Diesel and petrol engines as well, e-tools, solar, electric go-karts. There's loads in this video. So as I say, maybe pause, get a cup of tea, have a think about what I'm saying on here. I don't know if this will go anywhere, but you never know, do you? I know we're a small channel, but we're growing. And we did get some good response from Land Rover, but this is the government, so we will see. But hopefully they see sense. Hopefully you can go through and go, Richard, what about this area? There's going to be stuff I've missed on there. I've had, obviously, EVs, I've had plug-ins, I've had mild hybrids, I've got diggers, dumper trucks, vans. I haven't got a lorry. I've got lots of e-tools. I haven't got a motorcycle, so how's that going to affect you? So there's some areas I need your help on. I've done some good things on classic cars as well, where I think that could work. This channel, I want to find solutions. I don't want to just keep talking about stuff. I find that boring if people just keep talking. I want to talk. If I'm talking, then it's because I want to go somewhere. I want to find a solution. I want to put something together. I need your help. So let's go through it. Right, so let's look at the current policy. So the current policy is running till 2035. It was originally 2030, but Labour in charge now. They've said we're going to go back to 2030. They haven't done it yet, but basically from 2030, a manufacturer will only be able to produce an EV zero emission vehicle. So no more hybrids, no more mild hybrids. That's it, game over for them. The second-hand market's going to be interesting because obviously if we still don't really have the adoption, and at the moment it's too low on EVs, and we'll go through all the challenges, it's something that's going to have to be changed, and I'm assuming it's going to be changed, but I want to go through every section. So I've detailed it in a way for you. EVs, zero emission, plug-in hybrids, mild hybrids, petrol and diesel. Then I've put it into categories of like cars, motorcycles, vans, lorries, machinery, and we'll go through that. Also petrol, also emissions from tyres that are higher than you probably realise. So I've put it together. I'm going to run through each stage, and then if you could comment on what you think, and then if I've missed anything, I'm going to put it into a document, and I think it's going to go somewhere. I know it's a small channel, we're only 19,000 subscribers, so quite small in the scheme of things, but it's not about that. It's just about, if everyone's upset about something, let's not get upset. Let's just talk about what we should be doing. Put it into a good way. I have done a video on this before, but it was about a year ago, where I said I didn't think full electric's going to work across, machines, tractors, lorries, vans, and we're seeing that. But right, let's start with EVs. Right, so 2030 is obviously looking at being EV only, so zero emission. I think that's fine for some, but not for all. And the reason I'll talk about that is that obviously we embrace change, and not everyone likes change, but we have to change. But change has to have progress. And it's a bit like me saying, if this was a phone and it takes an hour to charge and you're happy, you can go to the new phone, sir, and it's 10 hours to charge. You're going to go, not going to do that. So the battery is really the key of the whole thing to do with EVs. And, I've had EVs, I've had plug-in hybrids, I've had mild hybrids, I've got a van, I've got machinery, diggers. So I've got virtually everything that covers a lot of this policy. But I think EV is something that we should be wanting to go for rather than being pushed into. So like if you've got a good home charger, maybe you've got solar at home, you're not going out as much, you're not doing the miles, you're not under that pressure, then fine, you go for an EV. They've definitely got their place, 100% they got their place, but it's not going to be for everyone. Let's move to hybrid. Let's talk about hybrid, because I think if we had a CO2 of 65, that's pretty good. You can use a home charger. If we just set in a mandate to say that a plug-in hybrid has to have a minimum of 30 miles of electric, that's good. 65 CO2 is good. There's hybrids out there now doing that, but these hybrids would have got better, wouldn't they? The filters would have got better. So I'm suggesting we have a 65 CO2 limit on plug-in hybrids 2030. And as I say, you can use your home charger, and these are for people who are buzzing about. They maybe don't want to be sitting in car parks for an hour charging their car, or maybe not even being able to charge it because the chargers don't work, etc., etc. I really like plug-in hybrids, but there's another area that didn't really get explored enough. So I'm going to now go to mild hybrids, where you don't have to plug in, because not everyone's got a nice home with this charger outside. And I was even thinking about that today, because we're looking at our first car for our daughter, and I thought, well, I've got a plug-in hybrid, my wife's got a plug-in hybrid. If both my daughters have I've got to have 4 chargers, and I'm thinking, I haven't got room for 4 chargers, so well, they're going to take my charger, aren't they? So it's a bit tricky. So I've been trying to think about the first car for my daughter, what she would have, and I was thinking a mild hybrid. This is where something like a Renault Clio will have an engine like 90 horsepower and have a 50 horsepower battery. It means that it's very good at junctions. The battery is giving you instant power. It's not a hugely quick car. It's like 9 seconds still to 60, but it's giving you the ability to brake, regenerate the battery, and give you more miles. Also, the Renault Clio is 550 miles to a tank and hybrid battery, which I think is a really good range. And that's miles on from where EV is, and I haven't got to worry about temperature, etc. on the battery. The other area is vans, rentals. Now, I went on holiday to Italy, and I had a mild hybrid BMW, and I thought it was fantastic. It was charging the battery, I had fuel. I think if I'd had a full EV going abroad, being in a country I didn't know, not sure where the charging points are, potentially for me, end of the holiday, I might need to charge it up the night before. I've got to drive out somewhere I don't know. It could be late at night, and I've got to sit for an hour in a vehicle, potentially in somewhere I don't know. I don't think it works. So I think, but mild hybrid I think does. Gives very good range, and the diesel hybrids are exceptional. They give really, really good range. So I think that should be for vans, rentals, lorries, everything should have a mild hybrid. Then you've just got the standard petrol and diesel, which we're getting more and more efficient anyway at what they do. So I would say we would phase out petrol and diesel, say 2030, unless it's under, say, 100 CO2. Then people, manufacturers could carry on producing them, because the engines are just getting better and better. We have a mild hybrid at under 100, which they'd probably get lower. We have the plug-in hybrid at 65, and an EV is obviously 0. I think if this doesn't happen, then most of the manufacturers are actually going to be bust, because if we just follow through with 2030 for EVs, I think we're in a massive problem. I think the second-hand market's going to boom. People are going to hold on to their cars anyway. The government aren't going to get what they want from it, because they're having to subsidise EVs now to get you to, have them. You really want a business. You want to be able to get your corporation tax relief. Right, the next thing, because I think people are concentrating on, zero emission and all this, but I was thinking about petrol. Now, we have like E5, and then I was looking on some of the latest petrol, and it says E10 E20 E25, and I thought, that's interesting on the newer cars, because we haven't got this fuel with E5, E10 or E20 at the moment, but obviously it's going to come in. So if the petrol can get more refined and better and the filter's better, then that's going to help the CO2 for the other cars, if you see what I mean. And you know, petrol at the moment is just so convenient. It can't be beaten, I feel. There's no way you can get, I'll give you an example. So if you have a 100 kilowatt battery on a 7 kilowatt charger, it's going to take you, whatever, 15 hours to charge. If I went down that petrol station now and put in a full tank of fuel, I think it's going to take me under 15 minutes going in there, doing it and coming out. And I know people now with electric cars, and if they're at home, I think that 15 hours is too long. I know it will potentially come down, but I'm not sure it will, because at home the maximum you can have is 22 kilowatt charging, and the batteries are getting bigger, and most people haven't got 3-phase, and then so 7 is really the one that most people have. The other thing on fuel I'd like to change is I'd like miles per litre, not miles per gallon, because we don't fill up in gallons. I don't know what you think on that. I just think it's just a bit silly. I'd like to know per litre, how many miles per litre, just to make everything easier for us when we fill up. The next one is classics. So the 40-year-old rule, it was 25. I think it should go back to 25, but let's have the option of e-fuels. Can we have facilities open, garden centres, etc., selling e-fuels? I know they're going to be more, I accept that, but if I've got my classic car, I'm quite happy to pay a bit more because I'm not going to reuse it very much. If I'm only doing, I don't know, 500 or 1,000 miles in my classic car, I'd rather just fill up with e-fuel. That's fine. Keep it running. We're all happy. I'm running on 0 emissions. There's no problem. So I don't know how you feel about that, but obviously the WRC cars, F1 cars are going to start running e-fuel. I think WRC's run it for the last 2 years. Goodwood Revival, another one that ran it last year. The other thing, and I know it's quite a lot to go through, so you probably, you know, maybe you need a cup of tea for this or a drink, but tyres. Now, tyres are 1/5 of pollution on the CO2. So there's a lot of particles coming from tyres that cause a lot of asthma, different things, and the tyre manufacturers are being pushed to improve that. I think that could be pushed more. The other thing is with electric vehicle, I don't know if they will probably end up using more tyres because they've got more weight on the car, so the tyre consumption is higher, but tyres are right on an area that needs to be discussed because it's pretty much 1/5 of the pollution. The other thing I looked at was, you know, this push change to EV. A lot of it a year ago or before that, the petrol prices were quite high, and they have come down a lot. I put up some figures, but you know, fuel prices are coming down, and I'm trying to think what they can do now to sort of throw a big swerve pool. Obviously, car tax, they've done that. You know, you might want to go back and watch the video I done on that, where they've put in a huge tax for the first year and started to up it across EVs anyway. So you're in the same world really as a petrol and diesel owner. But yeah, fuel is another thing where I think that, you know, we're happy. I mean, what I find difficult to understand is that a lot of the time I feel like we're being treated like we're stupid, and it just annoys me. I don't know if it annoys you, but I just feel like, come on. There are some good things with EV. I'll give you some areas. Like we've got a fisheries business. I don't know if you've seen that. I've got another channel on here, RG Fisheries, and we've gone to e-tools. So basically we've got, you know, streamers that have got battery. So we're trying to charge up from our solar and use that, and it has been really good, and it's really peaceful. The electric blowers, you know, a lot less noise, there's no fumes, petrol, and we're around lakes and that anyway, so we don't want petrol and that going in the lakes. That's good. I think electric go-karts is really good. If they could be allowed to have more solar roofs, so they get solar power, the go-karts are electric. So I can see areas where, you know, the EV zero is really, really good, but there's areas it just doesn't work. Vans, especially lorries, I think is a total waste of time. I really do. I can't, buses, I can't see that. It's just too heavy. It's too heavy. It doesn't work. I remember trying to get a hybrid van to do a review, and they said to me, Richard, there is no hybrid vans because we have zero demand. So if you have zero demand for a plug-in hybrid, you're going to have well, you can't go below zero, but zero demand for electric vans are going to be the biggest waste of time ever. And I was looking at some of them, 70 miles. I kept, come on. If you look at a van now, a diesel van, you probably get 400 miles from a tank. And also, if it says 100 miles for you're just going to be charging all the time. If you put any weight in the vehicle, it's just going to destroy the range. So come on, we've got to get serious. So I've got this document here. I'm going to keep updating it and then keep you updated because I feel there's a freedom of choice. We should have a freedom of choice of what we go for, not just be pushed into something that doesn't actually work in, what am I looking at? 75% of the scenarios, I don't think it works very well. I mean, like electric motorcycles, is that going to come in? I mean, we had enough trouble with electric bikes, haven't we? The other thing is that, you know, you're seeing people not getting insurance now on electric cars. There's a lot of stuff there. And also, don't feel in any way like I hate electric cars. I don't. I love driving the Porsche Taycan I had the Audi Q4, but I believe one of the best cars I own was the Range Rover mild hybrid. Every 6 miles it regenerated 1 mile of battery, and I was able to sort of juggle with that and hardly use any fuel. The interesting thing was that car was built in 2014. There was only like 162 made because no one went for it, but actually it was a really good car, and these mild hybrids are going to get better. We're also seeing that manufacturers like Ford, I think, are pulling out of Europe. Toyota are saying they're just going to concentrate on hybrid and the engines. And is there other areas we can work on CO2 instead of just pushing it all to cars as well? You know, that's the other thing. But I'm not a politician, but I'm fairly good at embracing change, but also finding solutions. I have to do it in my business every day, and I think this is a good solution. 0 EV, 65 CO2 plug-in, 100 mild hybrid. I think they can come under that, manufacturers anyway. Keep things going. If you've got a diesel or petrol engine, let's try and keep it under 100 CO2. 1/5 of that is tyres, so let's get the tyres down. Do we go for an E10 or E20 fuel? Lower it again. And then if you've got a classic car, you run e-fuels. And, you know, let centres do it. You know, maybe e-fuels run at different garages. I mean, if you look at Porsche, when I go down there, they've got all the electric chargers. Could we have some sort of e-fuel Saturday or Sunday? Do the garages get more footfall from that? Should they just do it anyway? Because they could. I know it's quite a lot, you know, £2.50 a litre or whatever, but, you know, I feel that I want to keep classic cars going. I enjoy cars and coffee. I enjoy meeting people. This is the other thing. These EVs are going to just restrict us down with movement, and I don't think that's fair. So everything's got to be, in a way, balanced for everyone, because everyone's different. Everyone's got different DNA. Every person is different. You may like me, some other people don't like, that's not a problem, but everyone's different. But also everyone should have the ability of a freedom of choice. I know that's quite a long video and a lot to take in, but you know, I'm going to go away and work on this, but it's really for you guys now. Put your comments in, tell me what you think. I'll put all this in the description of what I'm thinking, and then we could put it into some sort of document and go, okay, this is what we think should happen. So please like, share, subscribe, and hope you enjoy these videos, and have a good new year, and I'll see you again soon.